Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna go through my favorite books of all time. Ever since I started reading again, I have rated a good few books 5 stars, but there are some that I've never really thought about ever since I read them, but there are a good few books that I still think about to this day and I absolutely love and would always recommend to people. So these are all the books I'm gonna get through, plus one more, but they're still on my shelf. But let's go through my favorite books of all time. Oh, it's heavy. So the first book I will talk about is actually a book I only rated 4.5 stars, but I still think about this book so often. And I think if I would reread it, that it would be a 5 stars because it is based on like Polish folklore and like Slavic mythology. And recently I've been really into like folklore and mythology, and I've been buying so many books that have either one of those two or both. Yeah, so this one is inspired by Slavic mythology and Polish folklore, I'm pretty sure. And it's Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. And yeah, this is so atmospheric. It really is. And I'm still thinking about this book to this day, and I would love to reread it actually. I read it, I can't remember, it's been a while since I read this one. But yeah, I definitely have way more of an appreciation of books that are inspired by mythology and folklore, and I'm really just into it now. So I feel like I would absolutely give this one a 5 stars. And I would consider this one of my favorites just because I still think about it to this day. And I thought it was very well written. I can't remember why it wasn't a 5 stars. I think maybe for me back then there was something missing. Maybe it wasn't the right time for me to read this specific book. But it's about this girl who is raised near this spirit forest. And she has these magical powers. But she once unleashes her magical powers and is then caught by the demon warden of the wood, which is called a lassie, who offers her a bargain. So the bargain is that she has to serve him for a whole year. So she has to go to this manor of his, and there's just lots of secrets, and she's, found out that she's not the first one that made this bargain. And not everyone that gets into this woods comes out alive. And I love these characters a lot. I really enjoyed them. I loved the atmosphere. I loved the vibes of it. So yeah, this is, I would consider, one of my favorite books of all time. And it also has one of my favorite covers of all time. I absolutely love this color. It's, I think, my favorite color ever. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has kind of a deer on the front. Also, if you can hear drilling or hammering, my upstairs neighbor has been renovating his tiny apartment for the last year. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, amazing book. Definitely one of my favorites. Now a book where I absolutely loved the first one and it really took me by surprise. The second one wasn't my favorite though, but I do obviously still love this series. But I do have some complaints about it, but I would still consider the first one to be one of my favorites, which is A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. And this book, I really wanted to find another book with dragons in it because I did read Fordwing not that long before this one, I think, and I just wanted another book with dragons because I didn't like Fordwing, I didn't like the story of that one, but I loved the dragon part of it. So then I did a little research and I found this book. So I bought this one and read it, and I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I gave it 5 stars. Now the second one is A War of Wyverns. Still a good book, just I didn't enjoy that one anywhere as near as A Language of Dragons. And I think these books should have just been a duology, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a third one out. So I'm not sure how to feel about that. But yeah, A Language of Dragons, absolutely love it. If you want to read a book that kind of has like a dark academia vibe and has dragons, you should definitely go and pick up this series. It is really good. And the FMC goes through one of the best character development that I have ever read about, which I absolutely love. And she's definitely very flawed. She made some decisions that, is questionable, and she kind of isn't like the best person, I would say, but she really learns from her mistakes. So, you know, if you start reading this and you're kind of annoyed by the FMC, just keep reading because she gets so much better. But A Language of Dragons is about this girl. This is all based in like London, and it's about this girl who got an internship to study dragon languages, but her parents got arrested and her sister is also missing. So then she gets this job offer, like this really mysterious job that might help her save her family. And so she goes and takes that job. And then she finds out that she has to kind of uncover this very secret language of dragons. And yeah, so it does have a tiny bit of romance in it. I would say it's definitely not that big in these books, but it does have romance, and the romance that is in there I did enjoy. And she has to learn this language because if she doesn't, her family might die. So yeah, she is desperate to figure out this language. But yeah, this book is a little bit like Dark Academia. It's kind of almost like a bit of a school setting because there's multiple kind of positions in this job and they all have to learn something. And it has an amazing found family in it as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book and absolutely love these sprayed edges as well. And this one is kind of less Dark Academia and more war focused, which is still enjoyable. I just was kind of missing the found family part and like some characters that I absolutely loved in A Language of Dragons, and it wasn't just that much in this one. So that's why I dislike this one a little less. And I probably would still read the third one as well. But yeah, A Language of Dragons, one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, the next one is also Dark Academia. And this is one of my favorite books purely because vibes. And it's Nightshade by Autumn Woods. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did because I never read a Dark Academia without fantasy before. I just mostly read fantasy. So yeah, this really took me by surprise. I loved this book and the vibes and the atmosphere and the characters were fun. It wasn't the best book I've ever read, but it was just such a good time. I think this book will be perfect if you're in like a reading slump and you just want something easy and addictive, and that is A Nightshade. Like, it's so addictive, and I am so excited to be reading Daybreak. I am receiving it very soon, so I will probably straight get to that one as well, which is the second one. It is a duology. But yeah, basically this book is about a girl who gets a scholarship to this really prestigious university in the Scottish Highlands. And basically her parents passed away really nearby this university, and she wants to go and investigate the accidental death of her parents and investigate it and figure out who might be responsible behind the death of her parents. And then she meets this guy and she has no choice but to kind of team up with him, and he is the son of the person that she's suspecting has something to do with the death of her parents. And she also has a stalker in this school. But you know, she's just trying to find her way into this new life and kind of growing, and all these people that she doesn't really fit in because they're all, you know, they all come from rich parents and stuff like that, and she doesn't. So she's just trying to also fit in, and yeah, it does just have great characters in it. I like the FMC a lot. I like the MMC, and I just like everything about this book. It's just so much fun. Definitely one of my favorite books. And then I have a book that is a second in a interconnected standalone series, and it's Heart of the Raven Prince by Tasunya Odette. This series isn't talked about enough. This is the Entangled with Fae series. Every single book in this series is a different princess retelling, and this is a Cinderella retelling. This is the second one in the series. Currently there are 5 out. I have read the first 4. Yeah, I read the first 4. I don't know if there's going to be more, probably, maybe in the future. I have no idea. But yeah, they are interconnected standalone, so you could just read them in any order you like. I would say read them in order because you get kind of introduced to every new FMC in the book. So like the FMC in this book was kind of introduced in the first one, but it's not really that necessary. But Heart of the Raven Prince is definitely one of my favorite books of all time. I like the other books in the series, but nowhere near as much as this one. I think it was just the story. It really reminded me of Bridgerton, like the last season of Bridgerton, because it's a Cinderella retelling. But just, yeah, it just kind of the way the Cinderella retelling was felt similar to that one. But make it fantasy. This is a romantasy series, so it is based in like a fae world with humans as well. And yeah, this is so whimsical and magical, but it still has adventure in it. And I absolutely love these characters. I absolutely loved this book. So basically, in this book, in this Cinderella retelling, well, you of course have the stepdaughter, which is the FMC, and the prince has to marry a worthy princess. And they've already found someone that he could marry, but the girl that he was supposed to marry ran away, so she ends up wearing the glamour of this princess that the prince was supposed to marry. So she basically poses as a princess until midnight. But yeah, it is similar to Cinderella, but just did a bit of a twist to it. And the characters are definitely very different. And the prince in here is definitely more of he's at the beginning kind of more of like an arrogant guy. So yeah. And now another underrated book, and it's The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. I didn't know what to expect from this one when I started it, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I would reread it, and I would always recommend it. It's just a standalone, but this one is so eerie and atmospheric, and I thought the concept of this book was also just so unique, and I was so invested in this one. I also read another book by Shea Earnshaw, which was Winterwood. Also really enjoyed that book. Didn't like that one as much as this one though, so I wouldn't say that one is one of my favorites book of all time. But The Wicked Deep definitely is, and I definitely think more people should check out this author. It's amazing. This book is about a village on the seaside, and 2 centuries ago there were 3 sisters who were sentenced to death for witchery. And so they were drowned in the sea, right? But ever since then, every summer they return, but each sister steals the body of a girl that they will use for that summer. The reason they do it is to seek revenge so that they can bring boys to their watery deaths. 2 centuries later, we are following this girl, and she finds this guy who is new to this village and has absolutely no idea what happens there every summer. And this village, by the way, they are very well aware that this happens every summer. They're just kind of used to it to this point, so they just get on with their lives, really. But yeah, this guy has absolutely no idea. He's new, and he has no idea what is about to happen. And he has no idea what kind of danger he stumbled upon. So she tries to warn him, but you know, they are all just waiting to find the first victim. There's lots of secrets, and both the FMC and MMC do question each other, and does one of them have a secret or not? But you know, this FMC can see something that others cannot see. And she then is forced to make a choice. Will she save this new guy or herself? Now, I also read my first Stephen King book this year, and it's The Institute. I love this. The writing style was fantastic. The characters, the story, the way it was just all built up, and yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. And I would definitely recommend to start with The Institute if you want to get into Stephen King. It's not a difficult story. It's standalone. It's not connected to any other books. So yeah, like this is about a boy who has an exceptional gift, and because he's got that exceptional gift, he gets abducted by a secret government facility, and he's being brought there, and there are other kids with exceptional gifts. And these kids, you either have telekinesis or telepathy, and these kids basically get experimented on. You have no idea why, and yeah, but he wants to escape. They want to escape this facility, but there is no hope until there is this other little boy that shows up whose telepathy powers are just insane. And then we also follow this former cop far, far away in this village. You know, he just took a new job as a local sheriff. He just wants to take it easy in life. But what he doesn't know is that he is going to take on the biggest case of his life. I have now a whole Stephen King shelf in my bookshelf, because, well, it is definitely kind of a required reading in my family. If we are all readers, and my parents absolutely love Stephen King books, so it's kind of just part of becoming a reader in my family. I am so excited to read more. I have read The Eyes of the Dragons and also another one, Elevation. I'm pretty sure it's called Elevation. But this one is definitely the best I've read so far. And it is, I would say, one of my favorite books of all time. It does have a show. I'm pretty sure it's on Prime, or it's like an MGM show. I actually enjoyed it. They have changed something. So this is a standalone in the series. They've actually turned it into multiple seasons. I don't know how many there's going to be, but it's going to be a second season. So different ending, but I actually did enjoy it, and it has Ben Barnes in it. If you don't want to read the book, but you are curious about the story, you can just watch the series as well. Let's talk about my favorite series of all time. And it's the Boys of Tommen series. I'm not going to put them in order, because I have no idea. I love them all so much. Now, Binding 13 and Keeping 13 feels a bit more special, because it's kind of what really got me into the series, obviously. And I just absolutely love Johnny and Shannon. But these books, my favorite characters ever. You just get so attached to these characters, and it's intense, so heartbreaking, but it heals your heart at the same time. And I just love Boys of Tommen so much, and I love every single one of these characters. I love all of the books. And yeah, it's definitely one of more of like a very popular book, but it just deserves that. I don't think I've ever read a book where you just feel so attached to these characters and you feel so much for them. Yes, they are chunky books, and some people are like, do you really need 800 pages of a book about these characters? Yes, you do. I think actually it's necessary that it's that thick, because you really just get to know these characters so well, and it just makes them feel so much more real. If you don't know what The Boys of Tommen is about, this is Binding 13. This is the first book in the series. This is about a girl called Shannon, and she gets bullied in her local school. By the way, this is all set in Ireland, in Cork. And she gets bullied so much that she has to go to this private school. But she also has things going on at her home, and it's dark. It is very dark, very heartbreaking. And she bumps into this guy named Johnny, who is going to be a rugby star. And in these books, we just follow a lot of characters who are all going through something and all have to overcome things. There's like this found family, just amazing character dynamics, amazing romance stories, but also just so many struggles, so many painful things that happens in these books. I am excited for the show. I'm really excited to see it on the screen actually. But yeah, I will forever love the series. It will forever be one of my favorite series of all time. Now we have 2 more to go. One of them is a high fantasy, and it's Shadow of the Gods by John Quinn. I've only read the first one because I'm kind of scared to start the second one, and I haven't really been in the right mindset to read that one. But yeah, if this is the only high fantasy book I've ever read, and I absolutely loved it. It's kind of gives Norse mythology vibes. Yeah, I think this one was so good. And I was expecting to be this like really complicated world and story to follow. That's what I always kind of expected with high fantasy. And I was absolutely terrified to start a high fantasy. But if you want to get into it, you should definitely read Shadow of the Gods. I thought it wasn't that hard to follow. I did use tabs just to kind of help me remember things better, because there are a lot of names to remember. So you follow 3 characters in this book. The first one is a huntress who is on a dangerous quest, and a noblewoman who has rejected privilege to be in pursuit of a battle fame, and a thrall who seeks vengeance. And these 3 people basically will all shape the fate of this world, because it's going to fall once more under the shadow of the gods. So much fun. I really enjoyed it. I love this world. And I am really excited to continue with this trilogy. And now my favorite duology of all time. The Rose Bargain duology. I love this book. I love this so much. So it's by Sasha Payton Smith. First one is The Rose Bargain, and the second one is The Thorn Queen. If you want fantasy meets Bridgerton meets Trials meets whimsical and romance. This is it. This duology has it all. Yeah, one of my favorite books of all time. It just has amazing found family in it. I love the characters. The FMC Ivy is one of my favorite FMCs of all time. And basically this one is about a prince. And this world is based in England, and the queen is a fae. And her son is looking for a bride. And basically, you know, when in like Regency era, when they are trying to find suitors, and they go out in society, they can ask for a bargain from the fae queen herself. But for example, you want a perfect smile, you might lose your taste of food. You know, so you get something you want, but you have to give something in return. But this season is different because the son of the fae queen is looking for a bride. So they are going to hold a competition to win the hand of the son, so the prince. And the FMC wants to join this competition to kind of prevent, because her family will otherwise be in ruin. So she wants to join this competition to see if she can save her family from ruin. And so, you know, there's lots of trials in it. She has to team up with the brother of the prince. And yeah, I love the characters in these books a lot. This one also has trials in it, and this is more fantasy. So this is more based in like the fae world. This is more based in the real world, but still so whimsical. So just, I love these so much. And they are one of my favorite books of all times. Now, I would say those are probably like my favorite books. There are so many more books that I absolutely love, but these are definitely the ones that I think about the most. But that will bring us at the end of this video. I hope you were able to add some books to your TBR, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know down in the comments what your favorite book of all time is. And yes, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!